which is why I really believe the next evolution of selling is not just relationships, it's leadership.
Welcome to Entrepreneurs Are Leaders podcast with Harry Sardinas. Interviews with world's most influential entrepreneurs that share tips about how to grow your business exponentially. Charismatic speaking, leadership, branding, marketing strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.
Welcome to Entrepreneurial Leaders, and today we have Genevieve with us, which is a sales coach. And we're gonna ask the question that everybody is waiting to listen the answers, Jenny from US. So tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to increase their sales?
Well, I thank you, first of all, for having me on. It's exciting to be here. I think, honestly, I don't think I know. Honestly, the biggest thing for entrepreneurs to increase their sales is one, I work on their identity as whatever. It's really funny when it comes to selling. Most people will tell you they don't like selling. Honestly, they'll say, I hate selling. I'm afraid of being pushy. I don't know what to say without sounding weird. But everybody wants the income, right? So you want the income. The income doesn't happen until you actually learn how to sell. So you've got to create some alignment in your head and your heart around selling. Like, are you a sales leader? Are you a guide? Are you someone that guides people on transformations? Or are you simply a transactional sort of person? So I think step number 1, honestly, is for someone to look at what they value, get very clear on how that value aligns with them actually showing up as a salesperson, right? And I would say salespeople are just leaders. Honestly, they're just leading people through a discovery process. But step number 1 is really get your head and your heart aligned on the value of being in sales and selling your product or service. Because if you just wait for it to happen, it doesn't work out as well as if you learn how to effectively start those conversations, understand. And to do that, I think you really need to spend time learning how to sell, and learning how to sell in a way that's authentic to you. So I would say that's step number 1.
Very good. And what's the next one after this?
Yeah. Step number 2 is understanding that you are your secret sauce. So when I look out at the world and I see all the sales training that's out there, some of it's outdated. A lot of it is very transactional, meaning run, hustle, get the sale. And there isn't a real sense of what consumers want now, which is value and relationships. So if you really want a transactional business, I tell people get a job at a fast food restaurant where someone just comes up, gives you their order, you take the order, you give them the change, and then you never have to think about them. That's very transactional, but that's not what most people want. What most people want is a journey with a trusted friend. And so I think it's really important that you focus on, here are my specialties. I'm good at connecting. I'm funny. I'm straightforward. I'm whatever we call it your sales DNA is, discover what makes what people really like about you and lead with that. Bring that to your social media, to your conversations, all the things. Then I would say step number 3 is learn how to tell a story, for Pete's sake. You know, it's so funny to me. People have all the right pieces, but they put them together in very, very funny ways. People only buy when they're moved emotionally. And typically, if you're like, hey, this is what I'm selling, and you lead with, this is what I'm selling, and you got to have this, like, it's really not going to get you anywhere until you tell me why I should care. So your product is cool and everything. Maybe 1 in 100 times you talk about it, I might show interest. But all I know is that I'm sitting in a problem and I've got an emotional uh, experience that's happening that isn't optimum. Talk to me where I am, what I'm feeling. Talk to me about those things and then follow up with your product or service. Because the biggest, like right now, for example, Harry, everyone is like really hitting on weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. You got to lose weight. And I'm like, that's kind of like a restaurant saying, you got to eat. Come here, you got to eat. It's like, well, first of all, what do you serve? Why do I want to eat there? Weight loss is a very broad subject. There are people just starting, there are people plateauing, there are people that have already lost weight. So if you have a product or service that speaks to weight loss, you got to be a little more specific and more relational.
Niche.
Yeah. Like even within a topic, you can continue to drill down even more so that I hear your message. If you're only talking to me about losing weight and I've already lost weight, your message doesn't penetrate, right? If you talk to me about like, hey, if you've lost weight and now you're feeling anxious about keeping that weight off, or you're feeling anxious because the scale is moving in the wrong direction, I got something we should talk.
The riches are in the niches.
Gotta do. They are for sure. And then I would say follow up with heart and value. So people like to follow up and tell people we're following up, which is code for are you ready to buy yet? Which is not
how would you be following up? Yeah.
Right. It's like, hey, I'm following up. Are you ready to buy from me yet? And really what you need to understand in the sales process, which kind of goes back to, gosh, for heaven's sakes, learn how to sell, for Pete's sake. It's easier. It's more fun. You have more impact. But anywho, but you really want to get back to, well, what might their self-limiting beliefs be that are keeping them from taking a next step? And then how can I help them overcome that self-limiting belief? So you want to think in terms of the last time we connected, you said you needed some extra time to think this through. I came across this article. I came across this story of a friend. I came across this extra tip. One of those things, something like that, that made me want to reconnect with you and help you take your next step in deciding if this is a good fit for you, right? So it's not like, hey, I'm calling to bug you because it's convenient for me right now. It's really more about I'm adding value as I'm following up. And then I would say the last step is learn how to close the sale. Now, Harry, so many people are so passionate about their product or service, and they are just completely clueless in terms of, okay, you've actually earned the right to ask someone to take a next step with you. And even just simple phrases like, well, at this point, the next step would be for you to X, Y, or Z, right? What are your thoughts about just taking that next step? Hey, let's just dive into this. Let's take this journey together. There's so many different ways to start the closing conversation and get people to close. But a lot of times people wait for someone to say, here's my credit card, sign me up. And I don't know about you, but I don't see that often.
So I love one of the topic that you talk about, the follow-up, because sometimes depends in our own business, we see that sometimes 80% of the sales is happening in the follow-up. And the people are out there, they're only interested, okay, very transactional. Let's make the sale right now, otherwise forget about this person. Let's sell it right now. People don't buy when you're ready to sell. They buy when they're ready to buy, right? Yes. But the follow-up has to be done effectively in order for that to work. So tell us some secrets.
Clarity.
With clarity. Okay. Tell us some secrets
secret.
about effective follow-up, because I think this is a lot of value for our entrepreneurs listening. Because if you listen to this broadcast, pay attention, because your sales can increase dramatically with what we are about to share.
Yes, thank you. The first is clarity. Make sure that the very next step for your prospect is very clear and that what you help them with is very, very, very clear. The brain is lazy. If it has to figure stuff out, you're going to be put on the back burner. So, what are my next steps? How exactly do you help me? How much time is involved? What does the process look like? All of those, pardon me, all of those things have to be very clear to your prospect. So as you look at your follow-up process, the first step is, well, besides being clear, the next thing you have to do is you actually have to have a follow-up process, Harry. Most people that I coach, when I ask them, like, what's your sales process? It's literally like, well, I post and I expect people to buy. And I'm like, good luck with that. You really have to understand that there is a discovery process that people go through, and your follow up needs to be intentional and specific. And again, I would say the best follow up is based on you doing the homework to understand where are their self limiting beliefs that might be keeping them from actually taking a next step. And the idea I always tell people is your job as a salesperson is to start conversations and stay in the conversation. So get good at staying in the conversations. And then the third thing I would say is learn to talk about their problems versus your solutions. Because you telling me you're ready to sell me this is not going to make me feel more comfortable about saying yes when I might be having trouble with something that you've spoken to me about. I think even just having some phrases handy in your head when people say things like, well, I want to think it over, I very often will validate that. And I'll say, yes, that's wise. Most people do want to think it over. In order to help you, however, I'd like to offer you the opportunity to think out loud. Think out loud with me so I can hear maybe.
That's an objection. I think
Right?
about it. Yeah, people, sometimes we don't realize that this is an objection. And if you are
Yes.
selling, yeah, let me think about it. I think it's the most popular objection out there.
Yes.
I always said in my conference, objection leads to sales, but exactly how you did.
Yeah.
How we overcome that objection. And
Yes.
I think this is a brilliant way of icon it. Oh, okay. Let's think about it now out loud.
Let's think
What
out
is in the
loud.
way? Exactly.
Yes. Help
What
me
is it?
understand where I wasn't clear or what you might need more, because you can go off and think about it, but you won't have the answers to the things that you
So, well, I
may.
need to speak with my wife.
Yes. Let's go
Another
down that.
objection.
I'm a big fan of let me talk to your wife. Let's get her on the phone. What part of this do you think she would find most interesting? What part of this do you think she would think is the most supportive? What does she need to hear to make her get on board? Those are all. And
Do
by
you
the
wife
way,
do your wife make always the decision for you? Well, this one can backfire.
yes. The answer is yes, Harry. If they don't want to sleep on the couch, the answer is
yeah. So it's totally get it. Yeah. So anyway, people when we're selling, sometimes the prospect, to be polite, they give us these amazing objections that they don't look like objections, and we let the prospect go. And it's important to understand, number one, if the prospect is interested in the product but it's something on the way, you need to address it now.
yeah.
You have to address it now, there and there, and of course you need to be trained in order to do that effectively. But the other thing that we talk a lot in this podcast is about something that you spoke about, building relationships and doing the follow-up. For example, if you have a new business and I give you $100 as a metaphor, how much money of this $100 you will use to find new clients out there and how much money of this $100 you will use building and nurturing a relationship with the 16 clients that potentially can bring you more clients for referrals. And those ones, well, they are not free because you need to allocate some funds to nurture and develop these relationships. But this client, this can keep buying from you, number one, and then can bring you other clients. So if I give you $100, it's a metaphor how you will distribute the funds so entrepreneurs so they have an idea how to do this effectively.
Well, I will say, I think that is in some cases a case by case sort of decision. I will tell you my experiences. Most people do not leverage their existing customer relationships and referrals enough. For me, I would spend more of that money on my existing customer relationships, getting referrals from those people. That is going to increase the speed at which I'm going to get additional sales. But we live in a world where people are chasing the next sale. And I'm like, dude.
I would take 80% of these actual clients and then only take 20% of their budget to get the new ones because they want always to bring it strangers. And it's expensive.
100%.
But if somebody bought from you, okay, that's okay. I don't care anymore. This person already, I'm moving on.
Yes.
And if you have good product, your product is actually good, you have a gold mine there.
That's correct. And you've already spent a lot of time and money getting those existing clients. You are you're throwing away good money and you do not leverage your current
We have clients that we tell them, look, we're launching something new. I said, I'll buy it. I said, but you don't even know what is it. Don't worry, I'll buy it. They've been buying from us for so long and so many different products. That relationship is so strong that they say, okay,
strong.
I'll buy where I need to fly. What is it, Harry? Is it Singapore? Why are you doing it?
And
where are you?
And if we think about the people we like to do business with, that's all the evidence you need. That's all the evidence you need that it's better to go with your existing clients. If you look at how you refer people, how you talk about great experiences, how you respond to an email from a person who gave you great service, like you said, you're like, sign me up. I don't even care what it is. Like, I know you provide value. Let's go for it.
And great experience. You mentioned a very word that is very key in all these relationship with the client. Make sure you always deliver an exceptional experience.
Yes.
And you will see how the magic happened in your organization.
But you know what's really interesting, Harry, is people miss that.
They don't care. They only find new people.
That's
they don't care about the experience of the client. They don't care about you. So even there is a Amazon. It's everybody talks about Amazon, and Amazon is huge and have been huge. But if you think about it, the only success, the biggest success that Amazon has is that in the .com, when everybody was going out there, getting new clients, they say, you know what? How about those ones that we have? Let's remove all the friction.
Right.
If they don't like the product, we replace it. We don't even ask. Who cares? Let's remove all the friction and let's do an amazing experience to these people that they're already buying. And let's see what happens. Maybe you don't remember, but probably you didn't look for Amazon in Google. You think you find out a friend told you.
That's
now
correct.
You see a huge company and everybody knows Amazon and nobody knows how this happened. You don't even type this online. But the thing is that when you say, I'm thinking to buy a present, you're going to have someone next to you say, look, have you tried this Amazon thing? It's amazing. In a second, you know what I mean? So
do you remember when you had to be invited to get a Gmail account? That was like part of Google. It was like you couldn't get a Gmail account unless somebody else referred you to when I first started out. And I think it's a rookie mistake for entrepreneurs to not think through the experience and where is the friction for my customers and where is my funnel leaking.
You have to fix it anyway. Otherwise you go out of business.
That's right.
You have to work on this anyway. There is no way that you can escape this, with I always said, even, when we talk about making your first million, right? Yeah, you can. If you don't have a good product, you can even make the first million, but it's gonna be difficult to make the second one because
I
the
would
product
say
is not good. If the product is not good, you only have one chance. After
yeah,
they buy it and it's not good, that's it.
yeah.
They're not gonna tell anybody. They're gonna write something wrong in the internet. So maximum, that's it. That's if all you're interested in selling, and that's your mark of success. Yeah, you can make a million. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but that's it. It's
I
not
would
gonna last
say
longer. It's gonna be
it,
an eternal race, right?
yes. I think it's going to be hard to actually get to a million,
Whether
honestly, with a bad product. You'll get
still,
there
if they're good in
faster.
marketing and sales, they can. I see
You
everything
see
out
it all
there.
the time, huh?
Yeah. However, that's the thing that if you want to be in business, not only for 1 year to make a million, but if you want to be in business for long, you have two things. You have to have a good product, but also
Good
this
experience.
this nurture and create a relationship with existing clients, and you people will experience something amazing. I've done it myself uh, several times with our businesses. My business was in property. The first one, I'm telling you, 18 years ago, when in London, and my tenant, they were leaving. I said, "Well, look, why are you leaving?" I said, "Look, it's because the English school is expensive." Is it? I open an English school for them. What else you need? No, but you know what I mean. So listening to them,
Yes.
I end up with and then they told me that they were leaving the room because now they speak English, yeah, but it's very common in London. Everybody from Europe, when they finish university, go to London to learn English, right? So it's not that far like US, so it's like a common practice. And then the tenants, that was my tenant. They were John. We call it landing services. What I was doing in London. And then they were telling me, I said, "Why are you leaving now?" I said, "Well, I wanted to find job. If I find a job, I will stay more, but because I learn English, but I cannot find a job, my parents cannot pay the rent anymore." I said, "Look," then we open a career advice. I said, "Look, you want a job? We help you out to find a job." and everything staying the same in this, just creating that relationship with those existing clients. It wasn't that strong that they will leave and then coming back to London a year, they will come in, "Harry, I need a room." I said, "What type?" I said, "It doesn't matter. Put in whatever." They already knew what to expect. They already knew that it doesn't matter which house they're gonna ride, what they're gonna get, how the things are. They already know before landing what they're gonna find. So they didn't. They say whatever. Which one is empty? They were telling me this one. Said that one. It's okay. They were telling me if I don't like it, you swap me for another one. You know what I mean? So that was the strong relationship, which is make a big difference. So I want to ask you something, which is the transition from corporate to be an entrepreneur, right? Because
Yes.
you shared that with me. And so, what message do you have for women in corporate that are listening this podcast, women and men? They say,
Yeah.
"Wow, I wish I have that courage to leave this good paid job and start my own business," right? Did anyone tell you that you're crazy? That maybe that was no good idea? That you were not with the
I,
risk that you're getting? Because
you
look,
know,
this is something that I get. Yeah, when you're in corporate, somebody comes to tell you, "Okay, you have to do this." You can tell them, "Listen, this is not my job," and they need to go and sort it out somewhere else. But when you're running your own business, everything is your job. So the whole dynamic
yes.
changed. So
Yes.
tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of this transition, and what's your message for women and men out there that they are saying, "Oh my God, I wish I have this courage."
Well, I would say that it does take courage. Honestly, I think there's way too much.
Absolutely, corporate make you very comfortable, pay you very good money.
Yes.
So of
Yeah.
course, get
Well,
you to doubt. Yeah.
it's funny because there's
Who
a
doesn't
lot
want
of
a good paid job? That you go
there's a
9
but
a.m. and
you
at 5 you leave?
the
Everybody, no? With
the
make a lot of money. C-suite.
the question is what aligns with your values the most. So for people that, hey, security is my highest value. I want a regular check no matter what. I would really question whether they should become entrepreneurs. It's not easy. There's a lot of fantasizing around like, oh, you have your own hours. Oh, you get to do
Fill your
whatever.
own calendar.
Right. Well, and like you said, but you know what? You get to do everything, period. You get to do it all. So, and by the way,
especially the selling. A topic that we're talking,
especially the selling. And people think like, hey, I've got this great thing. It's going to sell itself. And I'm like, it doesn't. There's a lot.
That's a dream. It's an illusion.
Yes. So what I typically tell people is make sure you're very clear on your values. What about your current job aligns with your top values? And can you get your values met there? And in many cases, people cannot. They either don't like the environment, they, feel like they're selling their soul for a paycheck, or they want more control over whatever it is that they're doing. So you got to look at that first. The second thing I would tell people is it does take courage. You better have some really great accountability partners. You better also have a strong coaching and mentoring system so that you don't have to make it up all on your own. And then I think you really need to figure out your support system, because the first time you go crying back to your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever,
they're going to tell you, I told you don't leave your job. That's the only thing they're going to tell you.
That's right.
Because most of them probably they have jobs.
That's correct. If you don't have friends that are entrepreneurs who would say, suck it up, buttercup, that's how it's done. Or
we'll be happy for you.
You're on that's correct. I very often tell people, congratulations, you're solidly on the road of being an entrepreneur. Keep it up. But
definitely, if you have this doubt about selling, that you don't like to sell, or you have an issue with selling, be careful going into business if you have this doubt in your head that you are kind of uncomfortable, or that's not your thing, or you don't like sales people. Out of the 500 millionaires that I interviewed in my life, I haven't found anyone yet that tell me, Harry, I don't like sales. Not even one.
Yeah.
Opposite. They get excited.
Yep. 100.
Yeah, this is sales. Wow, amazing. Yes. They can speak for hours. You touch this subject to the millionaires entrepreneurs that I've interviewed, and their eyes shine, and they're so proud, and they can speak for hours how they sell and how they did about the strategy. And whether you see out there people that want to run a business, to want to start a business, to want to grow the business, and still they have these, they are uncomfortable with selling. Let me tell you something about selling before I pass. Look, about your comment about your product, it doesn't matter how good it is. No, it doesn't sell by itself. Look, once I have this brilliant idea to open a restaurant in Brick Lane in London. The idea was so brilliant, and I'm thinking this restaurant is going to be so amazing that when people pass by, they're going to love it. They're just going to go in just by the look at it. So I told my bidder, listen, I want a guitar on the ceiling, because it was in a Spanish restaurant. And my bidder told me, Harry, you want a guitar on the ceiling? He said, yes, in the whole ceiling, I want a shape of a guitar. They told me, Harry, if it's gonna take you 2 more months to open. If you want that guitar in the ceiling, do you really need this? Say yes, because the whole thing has to be fantastic. I don't care. I wait. So then, the guitar was in the ceiling. The restaurant was amazing. Blah, blah. And the day that we opened the door, how many people came in the whole day? 0. Oh my God. And I'm thinking at the restaurant, and I'm like, and it was in very busy road. Everybody walks by. I think that they didn't even see the thing, because it was a full restaurant. Even that was new. It doesn't matter. You're invisible because it was more restaurant around. And that's the day I realized that, it seems that I need to sell this thing.
Yes.
You know what was more effective? To put the Spanish omelette on the door when the people were passing by, to give them a free sample.
100.
Yeah.
Yep.
It cost me way less than the guitar in the ceiling, and was the only way to. After the omelette finished, everybody was inside the restaurant. So this is how we sell in a very primitive way, how we were selling it. But I had to go out and sell it.
You had to go out and start a conversation.
Long story short, the restaurant today is a Chinese restaurant, and I think my guitar is there. The Chinese guy came, opened the door, and said, "This is a Chinese restaurant. There's Spanish guitar in the ceiling. You know what? Leave it." Instead to sell Chinese food, and it's doing amazing. You know what I mean? So the whole point is your product won't sell by itself. You have to go out and sell it. So
yeah. And I said there's a little nuance there. You have to go out and start conversations. The selling comes after.
Absolutely.
You gotta go out there and start conversations about your product or service. Agree.
I think that look, this is how I see it. Yeah. And I've done lots of sales training all over the world, by the way. Until the sales doesn't happen, nothing moves.
That's right.
In the company. But it gets more interesting, and I experienced this myself. And I hope that you experience that too. Also, when you increase your sales, magic happens. You know why? Because you hire people better than you to do the stuff.
That's right.
And I had that breakthrough in my life, and you won't believe it was so amazing that one day I arrived to the office and they told me, "Harry, we don't need you anymore. Go home, travel the world. Don't come here to the office. You're talking too much. You don't let us work." So the whole team, they were all better than me at everything. However, yeah, they sent me home, literally. My manager said, "Don't come. Travel the world if you want. Don't come here. We don't need. We know how to expand the company. We can do everything." And I remember telling him, "Who's gonna bring the paper for the photocopy? Who's gonna do that?" And my manager was telling me, "We can get our own paper for the photocopy. Come on, get out of here." They were brilliant, but the only thing that made that possible, it was the process of increasing the sales. When I couldn't increase the sales, I had to do everything myself.
Yes.
And it was hard. I was tired. I was angry. I was tired, hungry, angry, with dealing everything on myself. But eventually, the magic happened, and the sales increased to a point that I could hire someone. And then when the first guest that I hired to sell the properties for me, my goodness, whatever it took me 2 weeks, they were doing in a day. I'm like, "Guess how you doing this?" They were more active, they are more energetic, they knew how to, they were selling to the same age, they were young, and so they knew better than me the needs or the prospect because they were the same age. So whatever I was telling to that prospect in order to rent that room, look, this is a room, it's comfortable for supermarkets, it's good, it's close to a supermarket, it's close here, you're gonna be comfortable, yeah. Maybe the guests were telling them, "Look, you're gonna be in this room, but you know it's amazing. We can have party, we can go out there, we are all friends here. The internet goes fast." So they were telling them something that I was not telling them, and like that, they were selling the rooms like cupcakes. So first we need to. So why do you think that sale has such a bad connotation without? It had bad connotation among the broke people. But when you speak with the wealthy people, they all get excited.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I think it's because when you have a really good sales experience, your brain doesn't categorize it as sales. So you really only have memories of the bad pushy experiences, and the good ones, they didn't feel like sales. So you don't feel like you were sold to. You entered into a relationship, you had a great experience. It's completely different, but the brain likes to categorize. And I really believe that there's so much good selling that goes on that honestly doesn't get categorized as selling. So I think that's part of it. So all people remember are the pushy people, the people that look at you like money signs, the old hype bro tactics. All of that is what people remember, and they don't really think about, wow, I drive a car I love because the salesperson is my friend, or I joined a country club I love because the guy's a buddy. It's like Actually, when you look at what people
I
call
think
top salespeople, it's friend. They're my friend. They don't think of them as separate.
it's all about value. I think when you, even in the industry, in the events industry, sometimes you ask people, say, what do you think about the event? And they tell, Harry, was so too much selling. And I'm like, what these people are doing there in an event? It takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of energy to bring them in that room. And after they're sitting there, all you do is just sell without
Right.
giving any value.
That's right.
Crazy, no? And we in our experience, when you ask the people that go to our event, they say, wow, a lot of fun, that was amazing, right? But you will never, I never hear anybody that attend to our event that after they finish, they say, oh, it was too much selling. Because at the end, and don't get me wrong,
Yes.
we are selling, but
Yes.
first you give a lot of value.
Right.
Second, you listen to them to see what you're gonna sell. They are interested and they want it, and we solve the problem. If you don't talk to them, you don't know what problem they really have. Okay, and I think this is biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is, well, this is my product, and you have to buy it in this form, and that's it. Buy it. Whether they're not open to the conversation, okay, this is my product, might solve your problem, but tell me how my product will solve your problem. Do you think that will solve it, or what I need to add to my product to actually solve your problem, right? So if we think adding value, then nobody's gonna complain about the selling. All of the opposite, they will embrace it, right?
Yeah. If you haven't actually connected with a prospect, whether it's in a webinar, a one-on-one conversation online about the problem you can help them with, like we're very clear. I know what your problem is. You know, I know what your problem is. Let me show you a couple things we've done for other people to solve those problems. And then I'm presenting myself as a reliable, confident resource that you in particular want to go on a journey with me in particular. Then the sale is a logical next step. When people feel pushed or like they've been sold to, it's exactly what you're talking about. You didn't talk enough about my problems. There wasn't enough value or clarity. And one, you didn't sound like yourself, or you didn't sound like someone I want to take a next step with. So it's a nice little dance, honestly. And when you do it, it's a lot of fun. I think that's why really good salespeople enjoy selling, because they have fun connecting with people and solving their problems.
Yeah. So then, what do you think, or what advice do you have for entrepreneurs that still they have an issue with selling, or CEOs that you find out there that say, well, I will pay somebody else to do my selling. I don't like sales. So what do you think? Yeah, what message do you have for founders that they don't like selling?
Yeah,
Sales, but they still want to build the business.
I think what people don't realize, pardon me, is that we sell every day.
Exactly.
We sell every day. We sell ourselves on getting out of bed. We sell ourselves on getting dressed and brushing our teeth. We sell a partner or a spouse on where we're going to eat, what we're going to do next. If you're a mom, you're selling every minute of every single day. So if you can get people to understand, I honestly, I do think there's some, if you're scaling, then it makes a lot of sense that you need to hire a sales staff. But you really should understand the process so that you
Otherwise,
understand
how you gonna
know they're doing a good job.
Exactly.
100%. So you need to understand the process. But I think it comes down to, we go through with people talking through, let's identify some really bad sales experiences that you've had, and let's break down why they were bad sales experiences, right? So can we agree that's not who you want to be? That's correct. Great. Let's think about some great sales experiences. And we have them list out, like, what are some words, some feelings? How did that person show up? Great. Circle the things that feel like you in those two columns. And then let's create conversation that feels safe for you to have. Because when you don't feel safe approaching people, your prospect certainly doesn't.
Oh, they can smell it.
That's correct.
When
From a mile away.
Oh, yeah. When you're not sure about your product and you're scared and you have this going on, they smell it.
Yes, from a while, which is why I really believe the next evolution of selling is not just relationships, it's leadership. There's so much in common with leadership and good selling. So much in common that then I think the next evolution is going to be salespeople working on their leadership skills.
You look like like the name of my company, Speakers and Leaders, right?
That's right. That's
Because
true.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly what I said. Every time you're speaking on the stage, you're selling either a
That's
product or
correct.
an idea. So if you want leadership is what is gonna make the difference in your sales process. And
Yeah.
the other thing I want to the last thing is about pricing, okay? Because there is a natural tendency for the entrepreneurs out there because they don't know how to sell, okay? They thinking, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the cheapest price, and then it's gonna sell by itself. And it's gonna happen the same thing like in my restaurant. It's gonna be cheaper. You're gonna, and then it's not gonna, because it's totally the opposite. You buy cheap what you don't care about. If you don't care about food, you buy the cheap food. If you don't care about a car, you buy a cheap car. If you don't care about the time, you buy a cheap watch, right? And only 20% of that of the population buy price. The 80% left buy value. So if you are thinking that because you don't like to sell sales, you're gonna put your product cheaper.
Come on.
And everybody is gonna go that. I remember, and there is well-known supermarkets that they advertise, we have the cheapest food, we have the cheapest product, and I'm thinking, well, you are attracting everybody that don't care about food, but it's okay, maybe because we need to eat every day. Okay, maybe that's enough for the market, but notice that there is an 80% of that population that also eat every day that won't go there if all you have is the cheapest food. Yeah, but and then maybe because of these things sometimes that people see in these large companies, they say, okay, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna sell the cheapest, and that's like this. I don't need to worry about sales. It will sell by itself, and I remove the hazard. It doesn't matter. I make very little, and that's okay. No, you're gonna attract people that don't care about your product, that will give you a lot of headache, and well, they have money problem. That's why they also buying the cheapest stuff, where buy actually for refunds and things like this. So tell us about pricing. Why people making the pricing strategy based on what they read and they see out there, right? Than the conversation that we're having today. Because if you create a value and a great experience, you need to be cheaper.
There we go. It's all about that.
So why everybody, as soon as they start the company, the first thing that they think is, I need to have my product cheaper to sell it easy. Why people are thinking this?
That's because they don't know how to sell. Straight up. They just don't know how to position their product. They don't really understand the value of their own product. And more importantly, they can't articulate the value. So, like the number one thing here that I see are people selling without any sales experience or training. Those people will always default to, here's some good news. It's on sale. Here's some good news. We're the cheapest. I'm like, how about here's some good news? It'll fundamentally change your life. Here's some better news. You're going to make exponentially more money. Here's some even better news. You're going to show up and enjoy your work and have more time with your family. Those are all priceless, right? But if you don't understand how to articulate value, you'll always default for price. And the problem with cheap is you commoditize your product. And as soon as somebody else down the street has it for less, offers free shipping, does 2 for 1. Your customers are not loyal. They've already told you. My
They're buying on
deciding
price.
factor,
It's a price.
not quality. It's not value. It's price. And so
Yeah.
that's a sad thing, I think. The big
Very
mistake.
common. Very
Yeah,
common out there.
it is.
Very common. And they say, you know, Harry, sometimes the entrepreneurs are telling me, Harry, the client are asking me for discount. And I'm just telling them, look, if the client asking you for discounts, because you're not communicating the value effectively.
That's right.
Don't drop the price. You drop the
Right.
price, the next client gonna ask you for discount. You keep coming and coming because there's nothing. Your problem is not the price. I learned this in the hard way. It cost me over $1 million. This lesson, yeah. This is a lesson that I learned. I think it was around the credit crunch 2009. I had the rooms, and of course they were empty more than the usual because it was a global recession. Everybody was, and I had this brilliant idea that, well, what if I put the room cheaper? And oh my God, it was a huge disaster. I put the room cheaper, then people that don't care where to live, if it's clean or not, say, okay, this is cheaper, so I'll go in there. As soon as the people get inside, the people that like to live in more clean and tidy space left. Took me years to bring them back. And still I end up with the same problem. The whole amount of room still was empty because the problem it was that I have to increase my capacity of marketing and I have to communicate more the value effectively. I'm dropping the price to solve this problem. Actually, make it worse.
Yes.
So I learned this in the very painful way, and it cost a lot of money and a lot of headache. So we're laughing now, but it was a rocky mistake. Sometimes I'll do. And look, that's why I'm so happy to talk about the topic, because after I get out of this one, I don't know how, but I get out. We managed to increase the price. We actually increased them way more. And it was amazing. We painted the rooms, we make them with a nice bed sheet, and people were paying even £200 more than the same room next up in the next house. And they were happy in ours. So we turn around that situation. But I had to look back and I start to study what happened, especially because I lost a lot of money. And when I lose money, I learn very quickly. Because it brings you a loss.
Pain is a good teacher.
Headache and less money. And I had to evaluate. I said, look, I did something terribly wrong here. This didn't work at all. I'm in the big headache now. So, okay, if somebody is in love with this conversation and want to learn more about you, I want to get some sales training, or maybe have this internal conversation. Well, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't like sales. All this, how people can find you, how this process work.
Yes, when they decide that I'm fun and exciting and can help. Not if, when. I can be found at Genevieve_Skory on all social media platforms. My website is GSkory.com. And I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
How can you help them? What can you help them?
Yes, I can help people create their sales strategies. I can help people create their sales processes.
Any particular industry is your favorite?
My favorite, honestly, is coaching. People who are coaching. I think that group of people are very passionate about what they're doing and they really create good results for people. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's really funny. I like health and wellness. I have a passion for people to live healthy, prosperous lives. And my specialty, honestly, is women. So I will work with men. Okay. I do have some men clients, but women in particular struggle more with selling. So I tend to attract more women.
Good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good for you and good for the women also, right? Because if they're on the business, they have to work on
That's
that.
Right. That's right.
Nothing happens until the sales
That's correct.
Place, and we should be happy and embracing the sales. Whatever somebody's telling you that sales bad, sales what this, We have to drop this if we want to have a healthy,
Yes.
happy, from this podcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy.
Yes.
But a big component of that is to be proud of your product, proud of
That's correct.
to feel that you're doing a favor to the clients when they buy your product, because nobody else out there will treat them and will give them as much value as you do. When you are in
Yes.
this space, you are unstoppable. Okay, so thank you so much for the
Thank
broadcast.
you.
And for all of you following the broadcast on Sardinas, see you our next episode. How brave entrepreneurs create business that made the world a better place. Bye for now.
Follow us for more on charismatic speaking, leadership, exponential business growth, branding, marketing, strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.